Live from the KHOU11 studios, it's Great Day Houston. And now, here's your host, Deborah Duncan.
While kids are out of school and many of you have the day off from work, why not take the time to explore examples of military history right here in Houston? For example, December 7th, 1941, an attack against the U.S. catapulted America into the Second World War. In 2001, film director Michael Bay recreated the historical event in the movie Pearl Harbor, starring Ben Affleck and Cuba Gooding Jr. But did you know that parts of that film were shot in Houston on the Battleship, Texas?
Action! Not yet. Ready! And go!
Battleship Texas has been here since 1948. She is the only battleship that served in all theaters of operation during World War II. She's the last surviving battleship that served in both World War I and World War II. She was at D-Day, which some would argue the largest, biggest, most important battle ever fought. She traveled into the Pacific and was involved in the invasions in Iwo Jima and Okinawa. She actually saw the flag being raised on Mount Suribachi. The famous image of the Marines and the Navy corpsmen raising the flag on Mount Suribachi was reported from her decks. The officers were able to see that. If you want to know about D-Day, you generally have to go stand on the shores of beaches of Normandy, whereas this is actually part of that battle. And so you can come here in LaPorte, Houston, Texas, and stand on the decks that were the same decks that were bombarding Normandy. Really special to have, you know, a film of that magnitude filmed out here, and then all the things that involves, and bringing in airplanes and getting those scenes accurate was probably pretty interesting, pretty intense, I'm sure. There is some of that kind of Hollywood star power that has lingered to where we talk about and look at various parts of the ship where we do know they've shot certain scenes. Their main focus in using the ship was try to get the interior shots accurate. There were some things that they did. They took artistic license and they changed some of the ship around. We jokingly say, as we're giving tours, here's the cot or the bunk where Ben Affleck slept while they were shooting the film. I guess they provided our staff with catering along with the stars. So I imagine some of them might have some stories that they're not willing to tell about eating a sandwich with Ben Affleck. So these are the 5-inch guns. These are the secondary battery. When the ship was originally constructed, there were actually 21 of these guns on the deck below us. So these were the smaller of the big guns. We had the 14-inch and then we had these 5-inch. And these were used, they'd find a bunker or a cave that the Japanese were holed up in, and they'd shoot straight in there and clear that cave out with one of these 5-inch rounds, which, you know, these are the shells right here. These are all replicas. These were done as part of the Pearl Harbor set. One of her nicknames is Lucky T, and she wasn't at Pearl Harbor, and it was lucky for her because she most likely would have been damaged, maybe seen the same fate as the Arizona. So this is one of the coolest artifacts aboard the ship. This is her lucky shell. This was actually fired onto her, or into her, June 25th, 1944, off the coast of Cherbourg, France. For whatever reason, it didn't detonate. It's been on board and as part of the ship's history ever since. Firing their big guns and getting fired at, going through minefields, escorting convoys. Those are really dirty jobs that a ship like this was built for. It was given to the state of Texas by the United States Navy to be a memorial to the men and women who served and who fought and died for our country. And it's just, it's hard to describe, but we often kind of try to put it in words. You know, the ship is the metal and wood, but it's the men that were the blood and the heart of the ship. Because of what it is and what it's experienced and where it's been, it represents all of those men, those 16-year-old sailors out in the middle of the Pacific, not knowing if they were going to make it home. It represents those hopes and dreams. It represents that safe haven they had against a Japanese Zero or against a German U-boat. This was their home. It just has so much history to it, and it represents so much that America and Texas have always been about and will hopefully always be about. It represents freedom, liberty, you know, all those ideals that we as Americans hold very dear to us, that she was kept to memorialize those ideals and the men that fought to secure them for us.